Welcome to Pastor Andrew's Inspirations. If you enjoy these videos, please click on the red subscribe button below and the bell for more. Welcome to our online church, a congregation made up of many from around the world. No offering is necessary. Subscribing and watching videos will keep us alive under God's watchful eyes. Today we will be learning about the ancient land of Goshen. The land of Goshen is named in the Hebrew Bible as the place in Egypt given to the Hebrews by the pharaoh of Joseph in the book of Genesis chapter 45, and the land from which they later left Egypt at the time of the Exodus. It is believed to have been located in the eastern Nile Delta, Lower Egypt, perhaps at or near Avaris, the seat of power of the Hyksos kings, if the Septuagint reading Goshen is correct. The word, which in its Hebrew form has no known meaning, but it may mean cultivated, comparing the Arabic root JSM to labor. Egyptologists have suggested a connection with the Egyptian word quis, meaning inundated land. Because Goshen was apparently the same region called by the Greeks the Arabian Nome, which had its capital at Hyksos. The name represented the Egyptian Pakas, the name of a town, with the determinative for pouring forth. Donald Redford, while not disputing the location of Goshen, gives a different origin from the name, deriving it from Gazmu, the rulers of Bedouin Quitterites who occupied the eastern delta from the 7th century BCE. But John Van Setters thinks this unlikely. According to the Joseph narrative in the book of Genesis, the sons of Jacob who were living in Hebron experienced a severe famine that lasted for 7 years. Word was that Egypt was the only kingdom able to supply food, and thus the sons of Jacob journeyed there to buy goods. In the 2nd year of famine, the vizier of Egypt, Joseph, invited the sons of Israel to live in Egyptian territory. They settled in the country of Goshen. Goshen is described as the best land in Egypt, suitable for both crops and livestock. It has been suggested that this location may have been somewhat apart from Egypt, because Genesis chapter 46 states, "Ye may dwell in the land of Goshen, for every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians." After the death of Joseph and those of his generation, the following generations of Israelites had become populous in number. The Egyptians feared potential integration or takeover, so they enslaved the Israelites. 430 years later, to the day, Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, from Goshen or Ramesses to Succoth, the first waypoint of the Exodus. They pitched at 41 locations after initially crossing the Nile Delta to the east, and then also crossing the Red Sea to the last station being the plains of Moab. In 1885, Edward Neville identified Goshen as the 20th nome of Egypt, located in the eastern delta and known as Gesem or Kesem during the 26th dynasty of Egypt, 672 to 525 BCE. It covered the western end of the Wadi Tumilet, the western end being the district of Succoth, which had Pithom as its main town, extended north as far as the ruins of Pi Ramesses, which is the land of Ramesses, and including both cropland and grazing land. Bible verses mentioning Goshen are Exodus chapter 8 verse 22. I will set apart in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end you may know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. Exodus chapter 9 verse 26. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, there was no hail. Genesis chapter 45 verse 10. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you will be near to me. You, your children, your children's children, your flocks, your herds, and all that you have. Genesis chapter 46 verse 28. He sent Judah before him to Joseph, to show the way before him to Goshen, and they came into the land of Goshen. Genesis chapter 46 verse 29. Joseph prepared his chariot and went up to meet Israel, his father, in Goshen. He presented himself to him and fell on his sickle. His neck, and wept on his neck a good while. Genesis chapter 46 verse 34. That you shall say, your servants have been keepers of livestock from our youth even until now, both we and our fathers, that you may dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination to the Egyptians. Genesis chapter 46 verse 1. Then Joseph went in and told Pharaoh and said, my father and my brothers, with their flocks, their herds, and all that they own, have come out of the land of Canaan, and behold, they are in the land of Goshen. Genesis chapter 47 verse 4. They said to Pharaoh, we have come to live as foreigners in the land, for there is no pasture for your servants' flocks, for the famine is severe in the land of Canaan. Now therefore please let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen. Genesis chapter 47 verse 6. The land of Egypt is before you. Make your father and your brothers dwell in the best of the land. Let them dwell in the land of Goshen. If you know any noble or able men among them, then put them in charge of my livestock. Genesis chapter 47 verse 27. Israel lived in the land of Egypt, in the land of Goshen, and they got themselves possessions therein, and were fruitful, and multiplied exceedingly. Genesis chapter 50 verse 8. All the house of Joseph, his brothers and his father's house, only their little ones, their flocks and their herds, they left in the land of Goshen. Joseph chapter 10, or Joshua chapter 10 verse 41 reads, Joshua struck him for Kadesh Barnea even to Gaza. and all the country of Goshen, even to Gibeon. Joshua chapter 11, verse 16. So Joshua captured all that land, the hill country, all the south, all the land of Goshen, the lowland, the Arabah, and the hill country of Israel, and the lowland of the same. Joshua chapter 15, verse 51. Goshen, Holon, and Gilo, 11 cities with their villages. This was the ancient land of Goshen. Adonai Nisi, the Lord is our banner. Remember, if you like these videos, please click on the red subscribe button below and the bell for more. God's blessings be upon this message and us all.